Imagine this. You are closer to your goals than you have ever been. The path is clear, the plan is set. Yet, a silent, invisible force freezes your hand, muffles your voice, and pulls you back into the shadows of inaction. It feels like an external curse, a conspiracy of the universe. But what if the true conspiracy is internal? What if the cage you perceive is not made of iron bars, but of the very beliefs you are taught were virtues? You have been led to believe that external forces, a rival's ambition, a lack of resources, societal rejection, hold the power to break you. This is the grand, tragic illusion. The ancient Florentine strategist Niccolò Machiavelli saw this human flaw with chilling clarity. He understood that the ultimate battlefield is not the world, but the landscape of your own mind. The most formidable enemy you will ever face does not stand across from you. It resides within, masquerading as your conscience, your morality, your fear. This internal guardian, crafted by a world that fears your potential, is the true wall between you and your destiny. So we must ask the great, unsettling question. What if the only thing that can truly hold you back is your permission? This invisible prison is not of your own making, but was constructed for you. Its architects are the very fabric of society. The moral systems, educational doctrines, and cultural narratives that prize harmony over sovereignty. Carl Jung called this the collective unconscious, a sea of inherited thoughts that drowns the individual will. Friedrich Nietzsche saw it as slave morality, a cunning invention where weakness is rebranded as righteousness to leash the strong. You were taught that goodness means being agreeable, predictable, and non-threatening. That success is a negotiated settlement with a system that approves of you. This is the psychological cage. Your desire for external validation becomes the jailer, and your fear of moral transgression becomes the lock. You have internalized the warden so effectively that his voice now speaks with your own. You police yourself, stopping your ambition before it ever risks condemnation. The world did not need to place chains on you. It convinced you to hold the key and never turn it. But what is the true cost of this self-imposed confinement? The consequences are more insidious and more personal than you have ever dared to imagine. The consequence of this internal policing is a life lived within phantom walls. You become a ghost in your own story, watching opportunities pass, not because they were seized by others, but because you voluntarily surrendered them. Your potential is not stolen, it is quietly abandoned. This is the great silent tragedy. Cognitive science reveals our brains are wired to avoid social exclusion, a modern-day version of banishment from the tribe. This primal fear hijacks your prefrontal cortex, the seat of ambition, and hands control to the amygdala, the fortress of fear. You are neurologically sabotaged by your own design. Culturally, you are conditioned for what the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre called bad faith, a performance of a role assigned to you, suffocating your authentic self to maintain a comfortable, approved of existence. The world does not need to actively stop you. It has made you an accomplice in your own stagnation. You are living with a low-grade spiritual fever, a constant hum of regret for a self you have yet to become. But if this is the disease, where is the cure? How do you stage a rebellion against a warden you can no longer see? The real prison is yet to be fully exposed. Subscribe to receive the key to your own liberation. The rebellion begins with a single, heretical thought that the virtues you were taught are often the weapons of your own subjugation. Machiavelli's radical insight was to separate personal morality from strategic effectiveness. For you, this does not mean becoming cruel, but becoming real. It means severing the link between your self-worth and external approval. Your first act of war is to reclaim your inner narrative. This is a psychological coup d'etat. You must study the mechanisms of your own mind with the detached scrutiny of a general surveying a battlefield. Identify where the voice of the tribe has been masquerading as your own. This is the essence of what Carl Jung termed individuation, the arduous process of becoming the undeniable, singular individual you are, apart from the collective. It requires you to embrace a certain virtuous ruthlessness, not toward others, but toward the weaknesses within yourself. You must be willing to be perceived as the villain in someone else's story, to become the hero of your own. This is the path from a life of reaction to one of creation. But this rebellion leads to one final, terrifying, and liberating truth. The rebellion requires a cohort of the awake. Subscribe if you are ready to join and reclaim what is yours. The ultimate truth is that the cage was always an illusion. The world's judgments, the fear of failure, the sting of rejection, they are not walls, but weather. They are storms that rage, but cannot hold you, break you, or stop you unless you build a shelter and remain inside. Your permission was the only lock. Machiavelli's darkest philosophy, when turned inward, reveals this sublime liberation. True power is the realization that you were never a prisoner to begin with. You were merely a visitor in a prison you consented to inhabit. The final paradigm shift is this: the entire concept of being held back is a myth we use to absolve ourselves of the terrifying responsibility of our own freedom. The world offers friction, not fate. Your will is not a fragile thing to be broken, but a fundamental force of nature that has been waiting, dormant, for you to acknowledge its sovereignty. Now, the question is no longer who will let you, but who will stop you. And the silent, terrifying, and magnificent answer, echoing from the depths of your own being, is no one. The final door awaits, and on the other side is a different world. Subscribe, and we will walk through it together. By being more aware of these dynamics, you can make more informed decisions that help you achieve your goals. This doesn't mean being ruthless or manipulative, but rather being smart and adaptable. Machiavelli's ideas can also help you build stronger relationships. By understanding what motivates others and how they perceive you, you can build more effective partnerships and avoid unnecessary conflicts. In the end, it's about finding a balance between being true to yourself and being strategic in your actions. This balance is key to achieving success and freedom in today's world. So, what insights can we gain from Machiavelli's philosophy? His ideas might seem dark or even a bit ruthless, but they can actually provide a path to personal freedom by helping us navigate the complexities of modern life. Thanks for exploring Machiavelli's philosophy with me. If you have any thoughts on his ideas, share them in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my next video, where we'll dive into some tough ethical dilemmas.